Why is that an effective survival strategy, to believe that there's something wrong with oneself?
Because it then will, it is the incentive to keep that part of you hidden, which you believe, if it's seen or expressed, will create disconnection. And a child cannot tolerate disconnection, right? And so we make it bad. We make it wrong. It actually makes sense, right? Yeah. Like, I'm going to make this part of me bad, and because mommy doesn't like it or daddy doesn't like it.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to keep it down because I want mommy and daddy to like me, to love me. And then that becomes a default operating system. And then we go out in the world believing that is true.
Yep.
And then we engage with people in relationships with that belief system. But it's all unconscious. People don't know that they're doing it.
Is there any such thing as any type of seemingly maligned personality pattern, an anxiety, or a person that stonewalls, or a person that, if maybe they're feeling depressed, or they disassociate, or they're psychopathic response, or what, like all the different types of, they're avoidant, like all the different terms, all of those are rooted in actually benevolent survival strategies.
That's right.
And then what happens?
And then what happens? In what sense?
At what point does that benevolent survival strategy become destructive in a person's life? And at what point, how do we start to manage and come into right relation with those patterns, or come into integration with those patterns, to be an integrated adult, and also be an acknowledgement and appreciation of, like, well, thank you, XYZ behavior that's now destructive in my relationship, for protecting me as a 6-year-old child.
Well, that's exactly it. First, you have to become aware of it. It's a pattern, and it has beliefs, and it operates in a particular kind of way, but it's like water to a fish. It's so ingrained. We're not. It's hard to become aware of it, and it manifests itself in like infinite fractals in our personality and situations.
Yeah. So,
becoming aware of it is it's ego death after ego death, and it's painful to understand that. And also, there's a part of us that doesn't want to know it, right? We don't want to know the game we're playing, so we hide from ourselves. So usually,
why don't we want to know the game that we're playing?
Because that's the best way to play the game.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just because once I start knowing about it, then I have to take responsibility, and then I have to change. Right. And I know intuitively that change is going to require facing myself, which is really facing my pain. And we don't want to do that, right? Because there's a belief that the pain is going to kill us.
Right.
And it's also, do you want to obliterate your operating strategy that has gotten you this far in life, that has helped you survive? Like, we don't want to do that. So
we trust the survival strategy that we've held on to for the last 30 years over this person that we met 6 months ago.
That's right. Yeah. Like, exactly.
I'm in such a deep relation with that strategy.
Of course, it's your best friend. It helps you survive. Yeah. Well, I'll share it because I wrote about this recently. So I'll use a story.
Yeah.
So when me and my lady fight, once we resolve it, she's ready to make up right away and cuddle and hug and kiss.
Oh,
and
she's like me.
Yeah, she's like
That's
you.
my thing.
I need a little time. I'm slow.
Okay.
So we had a fight, and we're lying in bed, and I'm kind of a little bit still frozen, and she asks, can I come closer? And I'm like, not yet. And she's very accommodating. She knows me. She's very gracious. And it was, in fact, her generosity in that moment that I felt this twinge of shame. Like, what's my problem? Why am I doing this? Why can't I just get over it? And so I closed my eyes, and I really, I felt into my body, which is something that I've learned to do through all my somatic training. And immediately this image of a red dragon like standing over my heart. Like it came right into my mind. And I was like, oh, there's a red dragon protecting my heart. And I thought, okay, well, that makes sense. I had a lot of heartbreak as a child, and this dragon came on to protect my heart. And that's probably why I was essentially single for a lot of my life.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so I have this dragon, but I also have this woman beside me that I trust, that loves me, and I know that. But the dragon doesn't know that. And the dragon doesn't trust. So I have to figure out how to talk this dragon out of this job that he's been doing all of his life, that he loves doing, that he's good at, that he's never failed at, and that he has tremendous pride in.
Yeah. Perfect batting record.
Exactly.
Yeah, you've never died.
Exactly. You know, and so what am I going to do with that? How do I convince him that, you know, his job is done and he's no longer needed? And I thought, well, I'm going to have to give him another job. And I thought about that. I was like, well, geez, man, if I had the energy of that dragon, because that dragon is fucking a beast. If I channel that into creativity, if I channel that into building something, I could probably build and do whatever I want. And so I started talking to the dragon, like, you know, obviously in my mind. And I had the dialogue, and I could feel that part of me, you know, that was just no, fuck that. And I realized I had to like very, very gently persuade and had to understand and show appreciation for all the work the dragon had done. And the adult part of me had to come online and said, it's like you survived what happened to you. That is over now, right? Like you're here, it's safe, and you can stand down and we can do something else with this energy.
Yeah.